Somewhere in a barn in Lancaster County, a farmer is using a garden hoe that his great-grandfather made by hand. The steel is still sharp. The handle is still solid. And not a single part of it has ever been replaced. Meanwhile, most of us spent more money on garden tools last year than that family has spent in 4 generations combined. If you have ever snapped a handle in April, watched a shovel head go wobbly by July, or thrown away a rusted trowel that you bought 6 months ago, stay with me, because what you are about to learn will be the last time you ever walk into a hardware store looking for a replacement tool. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how Amish craftsmen build garden tools that outlast entire lifetimes. And you will have everything you need to start doing the same thing yourself, starting this weekend, with materials you can get for almost nothing. Here is what you are going to learn today: the exact type of steel the Amish use, and why everything sitting on a hardware store shelf right now is designed to fail, the handle secrets that almost no one talks about, the one joint that determines whether your tool lasts 1 season or 100 years, and a 10-minute annual treatment I learned directly from an Amish family that I have genuinely never seen written down anywhere else. Let us start with the real reason your garden tools keep breaking. Walk into any big box store and pick up a shovel. Look at the price tag. $12, $15, maybe $20 if you go for the premium rack. What you are holding is a piece of low-carbon mild steel, typically 1018 or 1020 grade, stamped into shape by a machine, fitted with a handle that was cut for speed rather than strength, and assembled with just enough friction to hold together through one return window period. These tools are not built to last. They are built to sell again next spring. The Amish think about this completely differently. When you live on a working farm, when you cannot simply drive 20 minutes to a store, and when your values teach you that wasting what you have been given is a moral failure, you build things once, and you build them right. A tool is not a seasonal purchase. It is a long-term investment in your land and your family. The difference starts with the steel. The Amish use high-carbon steel, typically in the 1070 to 1095 range. The carbon content is what matters. More carbon means the steel can be hardened and tempered to hold a sharp edge far longer and resist bending under the lateral stress that garden tools face every single day. That cheap hoe dulls in 1 season because the steel is simply too soft to hold an edge. High-carbon steel, treated correctly, stays sharp through years of real use. Now here is the part that surprised me most when I first learned it. You do not need a blacksmith shop to work with this material. Many Amish toolmakers do not forge from raw stock at all. They repurpose high-carbon steel from old files, worn-out saw blades, and salvaged leaf springs from cars and trucks. A flat mill file that has seen better days is already 1095 steel, which is excellent quality. An old leaf spring from a pickup truck is typically 5160 steel, which is outstanding for shovels and heavy hoes. Auto repair shops will often give these away for free because they are scrap. I picked up 4 leaf springs at a farm auction in Ohio for $3 total and came home with enough material for 2 hoes, a spade head, and a garden fork. If you are buying new steel, look specifically for flat bar stock labeled as high carbon. And before you invest any time in a piece of salvaged metal, do this simple test. Touch it to a bench grinder or an angle grinder wheel and watch the sparks. Low-carbon steel throws long, smooth orange sparks. High-carbon steel throws short sparks that burst and fork at the ends, almost like tiny fireworks. That forking tells you there is enough carbon to harden properly. If the sparks are long and smooth, walk away. Once you have the right steel, shaping it with an angle grinder is straightforward. For a garden hoe blade, cut a rough rectangle about 6 inches wide and 4 inches tall from your stock. Grind a bevel along the bottom edge at roughly a 20-degree angle, chisel style, on one side only. That single bevel is what gives the blade its slicing action through soil and roots. Then comes the heat treatment, and this step is what separates a blade that holds up from one that dulls in 2 months. Build a charcoal fire in a simple pit or even a backyard grill. Use a small blower or a hair dryer aimed at the base to get the coals hot. Heat your blade evenly until it reaches a medium cherry red color, visible in shade but not blinding. Keep it in that heat for 5 to 7 minutes, turning it so the temperature is consistent across the whole piece. Then quench it quickly in a bucket of used motor oil or vegetable oil. Not water. Water cools too fast and can crack the steel. The oil brings it down just fast enough to lock in the hardness without making the blade brittle. After quenching, the steel is very hard but also fragile. One hard knock against a rock and it could shatter. That is why you temper it. Clean the blade down to bare metal with sandpaper. Then place it in your kitchen oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour. Turn off the oven and let it cool slowly inside. This process draws back just enough hardness to make the blade tough and flexible while keeping that edge keen. When you pull it out, look for a straw yellow to light brown color on the surface. That color is your confirmation that the temper is exactly where it needs to be. Now the handle. This is where the Amish knowledge gets deep. They use white ash or hickory, full stop. Both woods have exceptional strength to weight ratios and natural shock absorption. Ash is lighter and more flexible, ideal for hoes and rakes. Hickory is denser and tougher, better suited for shovels and forks where you are prying against hard soil or roots. But the species is only half of it. Grain orientation is the piece that almost nobody talks about. Look at the end grain of your handle. The growth rings should run parallel to the direction of force. On a hoe, that means front to back, not side to side. When the grain aligns with the force, the wood flexes with it. When the grain runs across the force, the wood snaps. Check any cheap store-bought handle right now, and the odds are very good that the grain is running in exactly the wrong direction, because those handles are cut for efficiency, not for strength. The Amish split their handle blanks from straight grain logs by hand, following the natural grain lines so that every fiber runs the full unbroken length of the handle. If you are buying blanks rather than splitting your own, check both ends before you pay. If you can see the grain angling off to one side, put it back on the shelf. I reject more than half the handles I see at any given store. Now the connection between head and handle. For hoes and similar eye tools, slide the head onto the handle from the tip end, push it up to the shoulder, then drive a hardwood wedge into a saw kerf cut in the top of the handle. The wedge expands the wood inside the eye and creates a mechanical lock that tightens with use rather than loosening. Some Amish makers drive a small steel cross wedge perpendicular to the wood wedge for added security. For socket tools like shovels and forks, taper the handle end to match the socket, drive it in firmly, then drill a hole through the socket and handle together, and pin them with a steel rivet. That pin is the difference between a head that stays put for 50 years and one that wobbles loose in August. And now the treatment I promised you. Once a year, at the end of the growing season, melt 2 tablespoons of pure beeswax in a tin can over simmering water. Stir in half a cup of boiled linseed oil, not raw, boiled, which contains drying agents that help it cure into the wood. While the mixture is still warm, brush it generously onto every wooden handle. Work it into the grain carefully around the joint where wood meets metal, because that is where moisture enters first. Let it soak for 15 to 20 minutes. Then, wipe off the excess and leave the handle in a dry space overnight. The beeswax seals the surface against moisture. The linseed oil penetrates deep into the wood fibers and keeps them supple. Together they stop the two things that kill every wooden handle you have ever owned: moisture, that causes swelling and rot, and dryness, that makes wood brittle and prone to cracking. 10 minutes of work every autumn. That is the entire secret behind a handle that still feels solid and alive in your hand after 70 years. Build it right once, treat it well once a year, and you will never buy another garden tool again.